Hey, hello. That is what we say in our normal channel when we are doing Kikuyu proverbs, and I hope you see on the other side today you had a very good proverb that says which literally translates into that millet planted by the roadside does not get an opportunity to hold in itself the pollen, so it keeps dropping any pollen that attaches to it, and it does not give forth to anything productive. But that's aside. Last time we talked about the experiences we had in school with a device we called a Monto, that device that was supposed to stop us from talking the languages of our fathers, languages of our mothers. And when I was reading through the comments, I found it very interesting. There's someone in particular who said, "Hey Peter, why are you talking about Monto? We should start something that person called a Survivor series, because Monto," and they were very right saying this, was the least of our problems. If you to go down chronologically from the time the day would start until the day would end, and the kind of life we went through, especially those of us who went to school in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. And this time I'm talking about the current Nairobi guy, the bourgeois, you call them the bourgeois, the middle class, the person who was raised up somewhere in Central Province, where we came from the extreme from both sides. We had a little taste of what modernity brings forth, and we still were very local to start with. So if you go back to the day, I was being reminded that the day would start with manual labor. There you are, you wake up 5:30, 5 a.m. And manual labor meant that other than preparing yourself to go to school, you had to milk like 2 cows. By then, when wanaweza kamua ng'ombe. We learned that at the age of 9, 10 years old. So if you are a 10, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old son or daughter cannot milk a cow right now, oh yeah, there is a story to tell. Now that was manual labor, not to mention that immediately after that, there will be courier services. Courier services, that means that milk had to leave your house, you had to run with it to school via the shopping center or wherever else it is that you used to sell your milk, get rid of it, and continue with your journey to school. And those guys there at the milk cooling plants or whatever it was, they were not necessarily seated there waiting for you. They were waiting for the entire village. So by the time you arriving there, you could have been maybe number 21, number 32, and it is now 10 minutes to 7. And the school is another half a kilometer down the line. Now that was serious. Now then, the next stage was selling. You had to sell milk and all that kind of thing. And remember, not all milk arrived safely, and that is the interesting part. Maybe in the course of the day you would walk around the paths, maybe at 2 p.m. and find a big white patch. That means whoever passed there in the morning did not finish his journey, and more pain would be waiting him or her in the evening when he had to deliver the news. Thankfully, there were no mobile phones where you could call your mom or your dad and tell them, "Mom, I was not able to make it to the dairy with the milk. It is spilled like 3/4 of the way, so that by the time you're getting home, the temperatures have cooled down." No, you are getting home to a mom who is expecting you to bring good news, and bad news happened in the morning. And there you are, directed to the third stage. You arrive at school 10 minutes after 7. That is when you go to that stage of violence. My friends, violence was real. And we are talking about real one, like 10 canes for every minute you are late. So like if you come to school 20 minutes, like it's just like being in prison. There was a real caning, punishment. The guys would get it from behind. The ladies, I don't know why. By the way, that was unfair. We used to get it from the behind, and there's something I didn't know. I've never understood why the girls only used to get it through the hands, and they would be whipping, serious one. And that is when now you rush to class. 8 a.m., things start happening. And remember, things like Monto will start coming up at 11. That is why when I was talking about Monto's guy, I was like, okay, it used to be bad, but you seem to have forgotten what the real chaos was and when it would start happening. I mean, it's like from 5 a.m. and here you are 11 a.m. talking about a Monto. Not to mention that the geography teacher will come there. Let me tell you, but they used to tell us to draw a map. and I know my friend Patrick would bear me witness, that I would never draw a map of Kenya if my life depended on it. You know that map that used to look like a lady's dress with the hearts and everything else? Every time I tried to draw, I would draw something that was not the map of Kenya. So the punishment for not being able to draw the map of Kenya compared to having to carry the Monto, that person told me, oh my friend, there were other worse things. And then something would happen. You draw the map of Kenya, you have to name the different lakes, and this is where I still have a problem. I think we have to take this deeply when they talk about Survivor Series. Survivor Series is when I tell you, in Standard 3, we used to have Lake Sango. Yes, it was Lake Sango, now it is Lake Victoria. Nobody called me to notify me that things changed. So if my child was in Standard 3 in Kenya right now, they'll be writing Lake Victoria. It used to be Lake Sango, check. I mean, nobody sent me an SMS to update me on the changes. No email, nothing. Lake Sango, boom, became Lake Victoria. Not to mention there was a Lake Rudolph. Yes. Jog your memory. That was Lake Turkana. Once again, no comments, nothing. Now, nobody bothered to call me Peter. Now Lake Turkana is no longer Lake Rudolph. Look at the geography and so many other things. Not to say the same Lake Victoria. They told me somebody discovered it. I believed it. Nobody would explain to me why our Luo brothers, and we used to call them Kavirondo, I think there was Kavirondo then, now Luo, nobody told me when they changed their names. Nobody told me why the Kavirondo never used to see the lake. They used to swim in the lake but not see it. Then a white man comes from abroad and discovered the lake, and nobody apologized to me when the syllabus changed. Nobody compensated me for having lied to me. We need compensation. We need to talk about these things. And that is just one of the few things that I can remember that was discovered by somebody else when there were people seeing it all around. I mean, so 11 a.m. would come, and then we go to recess, or whatever you call it, break time, and that's when Monto would come. And that is why maybe it was not a very bad thing after all. Worse things would have happened in the morning since the time you woke up, got punished for arriving to school late, lied to that somebody discovered Lake Victoria, a lie that nobody bothered to. I think we need to petition the government or the Ministry of Education or somebody just for an apology. I mean, each of us could be given like 500,000. We're told, sorry, nobody discovered Lake Victoria. It was all a lie. Just go on with your life and we will forgive them. I mean, it will be like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And I hope those lies don't go on these days. I am tempted to read those syllabus now. It is like, who discovered this, and it's all a lie. Nobody discovered them. They were there. Have a good day. We'll continue with this series next time. Go to my YouTube channel and try to look for Kere Kiajira. Whatever. Good day.